you need in the building, and you guys can check out what's up. I'm wondering, am I still going? Am I still going on here or not? Am I recording? Am I still recording? I don't look like. Am I recording? Yo, we still going. All right, cool. So let me talk with you guys, man. Let's talk some stuff, man. Let's talk some boxing. So Money Brown TV, which is a guy I subscribe to, Money Brown TV, he put up this notice here. Roy Jones Jr. disses Floyd Mayweather and tells Gervonta Davis to leave his camp. Let me turn this off. Okay. First of all, I don't think that Roy disrespected Floyd in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know that. I guess that's a sensational headline that Roy's putting forward. A lot of people want Gervonta Davis to leave Mayweather Promotions because they think he's a big enough star now, and he can do it on his own with GED Promotions and Al Heyman. And I hope Gervonta has learned a lot about promoting. I'll say this. I don't know if Gervonta Davis is disappointed with the matchups and stuff that he's getting in boxing, but Mayweather Promotions did a hell of a job with Gervonta Tank Davis, making him a big name. You know, but Gervonta would not be the name that he is without Mayweather Promotions. We all know this. Now, having said all of that, I mean, Tank is a pay-per-view attraction now. Not the biggest pay-per-view attraction out there, but he's a big attraction. And my boy Champside, a shout out to Champside, was really emphasizing that point. You know, Champside came on right here and he said, which one of these guys that you see in the picture, Jerome Ennis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, or Gervonta Tank Davis, Floyd Mayweather, are pay-per-view stars or are on pay-per-view. And the only one on pay-per-view, as you can see, is Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd Mayweather will be doing an exhibition probably on pay-per-view as well the same day. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, think Floyd is wrong for doing an exhibition on the day that Tank is doing his fight. I'm going to tell you something, man. The man runs a company, but he doesn't have to micromanage nobody. And if Tank is leaving, if he really is leaving, then why does he need to hang around? I mean, he's always going to be devoted to Tank, but if he can make some money on the side while that's happening for the company, in addition to what Tank is making for the company, why not? It's not going to affect Tank. It's not going to affect him, you know, negatively. So why not? But here's the major thing that I wanted to say. A lot of people are advocating for Tank to leave Mayweather Promotions so that they can see the great matchups and the great fights. This is the whole fan perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because fans have their perspective on things. Nobody's thinking about it from a fighter's perspective or from a business perspective. Mayweather Promotions made Tank a big star. Bigger than Ryan Garcia, bigger than Shakur Stevenson, bigger than Devin Haney. Devin Haney's taking a pay cut to get the fights that he wants. And the reason Tank is such a crossover big star, and this is something a lot of people in boxing don't realize, or a lot of people, period, don't realize, is boxing's a business first. Tank's this big star, not just because he knocks people out, because of how he was promoted. How he was promoted by Showtime, how he was promoted by Mayweather Promotions, how they put him in a position to look spectacular in almost every single fight that he was in. Tank fought some from very, very high, not high profile, but very, very quality fighters. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Jose, Jesus Christ, Zepeda and Benavidez somehow is coming in my mind. But this Puerto Rican fighter, Pedraza. He fought Jose Pedraza, who was still at 140 pounds, is doing his thing. Went on to become WBO lightweight champion of the world, and is still in the top 10 140 pounders at 140. Okay, Jose Pedraza was undefeated at the time, dominant. Nobody thought anybody could beat Pedraza, and then Tank came in, beat him for the IBF title. Mayweather Promotions showed how good this boy was, how good this guy was. Tank proved himself. Then he went on to prove himself again uh, by facing uh, Leo Santa Cruz, coming up from featherweight to super featherweight, winning the title there, and then facing Tank. It was a big money fight, spectacular knockout. Santa Cruz was very competitive. Um, the other credible name is Mario Barrios, who Keith Thurman could not get out of there, fighting at welterweight. Held his own, hurt Keith Thurman in that fight, and Tank stopped Mario Barrios. We will see how Mario Barrios' rest of his career goes, but so far he looks like he's going to be a hell of a fighter. Maybe not top tier like the top 10, but he's going to be a hell of a fighter anyway. Now, Tank jumped up from 130 pounds to 140 pounds to fight this dude. Now, let me just say something. Mayweather Promotions know exactly what to do to draw crowds and get attention and attraction. They've systematically been promoting Tank as a headliner now. They did one in, I believe, Vegas. They did one in Atlanta. Now they're going to be doing one in New York. They're systematically introducing Tank to different demographics and audiences, not just his core base, not just the underground, and not just black people, but they're introducing Tank to more and more people at more and more different bases. And so those people encouraging Tank to separate so that they can see the fights that they want to see, they're not factoring in how much of a marvelous job Mayweather Promotions is doing with Tank. And even if Tank is working with Al Heyman with GTD Promotions, he better know what he's doing. He better have the right players in place when he launches, decides to launch his fights, because the job that Mayweather Promotions did to get him where he is right now, and would get him the credible fights, but I believe down the road, is what they were doing. They're building star power. They were building his star power. And Tank just had to do what he needed to do in the ring. And Mayweather Promotions, the machine that's Mayweather Promotions, was building him up as a star. Now, Tank doesn't like the matchups. Maybe he don't like the matchups that is happening. But he should realize off the cut that all that heat and steam that people outside of Mayweather Promotions is giving him, he needs to realize and trust the people inside of Mayweather Promotions. As I said in my title, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't broke, so don't fix it. Mayweather knows, and Leonard Ellaby and all the matchmakers and all the people in Mayweather Promotions know what Tank is capable of. And on top of that, they know how to match Tank properly. What I mean by that is, you saw Tank in there with Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is no joke, and everybody knows this now, right? Isaac Cruz ain't no joke. Okay, Isaac Cruz that Tank faced. Now, Rolly Romero is not as good a fighter as Isaac Cruz, period. And we're going to see the differences in levels. Rolly's taking a big shot, stepping up to the plate. I've seen a number of guys in Mayweather Promotions do that. Rolly's taking on something that's way beyond his abilities and capacity. And he's going to train himself to the max and try and look for any opportunity he can. But I'm just going to say this right now. I'm not saying that, Tank should overlook Rolly, but Rolly's not on Tank's level, period, okay? It's an in-house Mayweather Promotions fight. Everybody sees it for what it is because people don't like Floyd Mayweather, okay? It's just what it is. But how many fighters have you seen have these kinds of fights? The only difference is everybody knows Rolly Romero. He's not as good as fighter as he talks, but everybody knows Rolly Romero. Everybody knows Tank. They're both Mayweather Promotion fighters, and Rolly is an outspoken dude. So a lot of people know about this fight. I still don't know who Ryan Garcia is going to be facing next. Not interested. Shakur Stevenson, we know Shakur's going to beat Oscar Valdez. No matter what Oscar Valdez does, he can take how many tips from Canelo Alvarez, he's going to get his ass beat. Okay? Because Shakur don't make mistakes and he don't mess around. and people feel he don't have punching power, but against Oscar Valdez, he gonna hit him with crisp, clean shots. Oscar can keep on coming, and Shakur can keep dishing it out for the rest of the night. So we already know that Shakur's gonna beat Oscar Valdez, but nobody's really talking about that. Everybody's just talking about how good Shakur is. All right, we know Devin Haney's gonna beat Kambosos. Okay, no matter what Kambosos comes with, he can come with mental games, they can come with little tricks, they can come with whatever in Australia. At the end of the day, Devin Haney's gonna go in there and beat George Kambosos. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's a mismatch. There was two mismatch fights. Okay, one is with a champion, one is with both are championship fights, but they're mismatch fights. But y'all going in on Tank facing Rolly Romero because Rolly Romero is not a top 10 lightweight. That's why. That's the only reason. Okay, but it's a mismatch fight, just like the other mismatch fights. The difference is, which a lot of you guys are missing out on. The difference is, Tank's fight's a pay-per-view fight. And people are going to pay for the pay-per-view, and people are going to show up because of Tank. And it's going to be a bigger fight than Devin Haney versus Kambosos, even though for boxing heads like myself, we're glad to see Undisputed. It's a much bigger fight than Ryan Garcia versus whoever the guy's name is. I don't even know who the guy is. You know what I'm saying? And Jerome Ennis, he's a hot talent. Hot. He's hot. Knocking out people left, right, and center. Ambidextrous. You know what I'm saying? He can go orthodox or go southpaw. But once again, that is not the buzz. People are not talking about that fight. Why? Whoever he's going to face. You know why? Because Tank has been promoted in such a way that his name swallows up guys all the way up to welterweight. We don't even hear from Antoine Russell. Antoine Russell's a hell of a fighter as well. We don't hear nothing about him. Okay, Gary Russell's a hell of a fighter. We don't hear nothing about him, right? Ryan Garcia's supposed to fight this weekend. Don't care, right? It's Tank Mayweather. Tank Mayweather. That's what's running the airwaves right now. Tank and Mayweather's running the airwaves. All right? And if you guys don't realize it, like I told you in the video before, and I don't know if you guys are leaving comments. Let me see if you guys are leaving some comments on here. Hold on a second. Let's see what's going on. Oops. What did I do? I don't know how to use this thing properly yet. Give me a chance. Go back here. To show where I gotta press something. Let's see, double click this. Double clicking that didn't do nothing. Oh, there. Okay, I just saw something. Hold on a second. Oh, there it is. It came down. Man, I'm having a little problem here. Oh, there you go. Oh, somebody's watching. Okay. All right, leave your comments if you want to smash the like button. Cool. If you're leaving comments, let me see if you guys are leaving comments. Yo, D's Nuts says Roy Jones the GOAT. Roy Jones a bad boy. Man, he was a bad boy, pound for pound. Roy a bad boy, but that don't mean nothing. I mean, Roy, it's not Roy's business. You know what I'm saying? If he's talking from a spectator perspective, fine. But he can't say, you know, that Tank should move off or he shouldn't move off. That's not his business. That's between Tank and Mayweather Promotions. We don't know what their dealings are. But I can say this. They did a hell of a job. And ain't none of them guys we watching here. As Champside said, and I side with Champside, and I said it this morning. The best deal right now out there, the best promoter right now out there is Mayweather Promotions. It's not Eddie Hearn. It's not Bob Arum. It's not none of them other guys. It's Mayweather Promotions. I'm going to tell you why. Because the fighter always has, they can make up their mind what they want to do with themselves, where they want to go, etc. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank could go up to welterweight and face Keith Thurman tomorrow. Why? Because Keith Thurman share a common opponent with Tank, Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? Tank has a lot of options. But, you know, I think the people who moving them along properly is Mayweather Promotions. You know, I don't think GTD Promotions I mean, it will go wherever, which direction Tank want to go in terms of opponents. But and I'm sure he's going to do a great job with opponents. But I don't think he's going to make as much money. See, okay, I'm going to explain something to some of y'all because y'all still kind of slow with it. So I'm going to explain some of this. These nuts. Shout out to these nuts. These nuts just said, whoever promoting Spence doing good. Yeah, I like make promotions. He says. Shout out to these nuts. Now let me say something. Let me explain something to people. Right? Floyd Mayweather, when he was at welterweight. Okay. Now Floyd Mayweather he would fight anybody and anybody when he was on the top rank because he wanted to get the big fights. He wanted to get the big money. So Mayweather was like, I'm a beat this motherfucker. I'm sorry. No cushion. I'm gonna beat this dude. I'm gonna beat that dude. I just kept on calling out names. When Mayweather became Money Mayweather, Mayweather stopped calling out people, and Mayweather was looking to face the best fighters, but he wasn't gonna face 10 fighters in 1 year. All right, he wasn't gonna try and face all of them because, as Mayweather explained to people, he said, "Listen, man. If I lick up 3 top fighters in 1 year or 4 top fighters in 1 year, I'm going to run out of top fighters real quick. I'm going to go to the top 10 in 2 years. Then I ain't got nobody to face." So he said, I got to promote these fights and make them big events. I'm going to fight like 1 or 2 fighters a year because on average, if y'all even watch it, all fighters through history, to the history of boxing, okay? Listen to me carefully. Through the history of boxing, okay? Listen to me carefully. Through the history of boxing, I'll repeat myself a couple times. Fighters on average, no matter how many fights they've had a year, fighters on average in their careers, okay, on average faced 2 new top tier opponents per year. Let me say it again. Once they became champion or once they reached a certain level, they only faced 2 new top tier opponents per year. You look at all them throwback fighters. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat myself. Don't worry. I'll repeat myself. But I'm going to say it again. But first, all them throwback fighters. Y'all think they was facing 100 and something or 200 and something or 300 and something different fighters? No. That's the first point. They had a lot of fights, but they had a limited amount of top tier fighters. In fact, the most top tier fighters ever faced in the history of, not faced, sorry, my bad. Let me reset that. Not faced, okay? If faced is totally different. Beaten. The number of top tier opponents beaten in the history of boxing, that record is held by Floyd Mayweather. Okay? It's only 23 top tier opponents. Top quality, top tier. Oh, Floyd Mayweather holds that record. 23. It's only 23. So them guys who did 100 and something fights, 200 and something fights, 300 and something fights, 400 and something fights, they faced less than 23 top quality opponents or top tier opponents. Not faced. I keep on saying faced. Shit. Beat. Sorry, my bad. Not faced. They faced more. Okay, they faced more. But they beat less than 23 top tier opponents. I want you to get that in your head. Why? I'm going to explain. No matter with the Hall of Famers, and here's another very important point. Harry Kreb holds the record for the most Hall of Famers faced and beaten in the career. 16. Harry Kreb has 399 fights. And out of those 399 fights, he only got 16 Hall of Famers? Are you seriously? Do you understand what I'm saying? I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. Hold on a second. Okay. These nuts. Shout out to these nuts. I'm trying to see if you're still talking. I don't see you. You see it? I don't see you. Oh, here we are. All right. These nuts. Yo, another guy came through. Let me see who this guy is. All right. So let me put this in perspective so you guys will understand. So throwback fighters and the throwback era, boxing has developed and has evolved, people. Paulie Malignaggi agrees with me. He said there ain't no fighter 100 years ago beating nobody today. It's not happening. Just like with women's boxing, it's evolving. The sport has evolved, and if people can't understand that, then they stupid, okay? Because they're holding on to the black and white film and they're holding on to the past. The best boxers in the world, or the best boxers in history, are modern boxers today. It's not the guys from back then. I know they used to fight a lot more rounds. I know that they had smaller gloves. I know about all that shit. But guess what? Guess what y'all don't ever think about? The guys today are bigger. Bigger. A dude fighting at welterweight comes in on fight night, a middleweight or bigger. 2. Because of nutrition and sports science and all these things, they hit harder. That's why the 15 rounders was broken down to 12 rounds. Before that, it were 20 rounders and 40 rounders. Okay? Guys now are fitter. The fights are faster paced. Okay? That's why guys killing guys in the ring. Not to mention the most important elephant in the room we cannot cease to discuss, performance enhancing drugs. Since the 90s, they started off in the 60s with this thing, but since the 90s they really are killing it now. And performance enhancing drugs, these guys, and they're not normal human beings anymore. Okay? They're not normal human beings anymore. All right? Once upon a time, a guy could come off the street, fight a world champion, he gets knocked out, and that's it. You can't play like you're doing that against these guys. These guys got punch resistance out of this world, and they punch out of this world, okay? If you or me step in the ring, and these guys go all out on us, they'll kill us, literally. I don't care if they wearing gloves. I don't care if they're wearing padding. They could have 16-ounce gloves on with padding. They could kill you, okay? Because they're super strong. It's like they have a super serum or some shit in them. You know what I'm saying? So anybody telling me that some guy 100 years ago and more would beat somebody today is out of their goddamn mind. Okay? They may have certain knowledge of boxing that has been lost today, or certain art of boxing that we don't implement today. I can agree with that. I agree there's certain things and techniques and skills that it would be nice to have today. But the sport on a whole, the skills and everything has evolved. A lot of stuff has evolved with the sport. The sport has changed so much. Okay? Now back to what I was saying. So, the guys back then, the top guys, like Mayweather was saying, they would fight each other. But they would fight each other so often that they ain't got no more top guys to fight. So they would refight each other. And they would rematch each other. And even though the top guys I'm talking about, see, no matter what anybody says, that, people back in the day used to box more often and there was much more pros and there was much more talent. It don't matter, because guess what? The cream always rises to the top in the crop. Okay? And it never was at any given time. That's why we have what's called the top 10. There was never at any given time more than 10 guys at the top of the actual boxing pyramid. Okay? So this is the thing that a lot of people don't miss out. So it don't matter how many people was involved in boxing. You're going to narrow it down to the cream of the crop, which is going to be at the top. Okay? So what happened was the top guys, they keep on dominating. They keep on staying at the top. And top guys face top guys, but they run out of top guys to face. So what happened was these dudes would keep on rematching each other, because they're beating everybody else. They're rematching each other over and over. Sometimes guys would rematch each other 16 times, 20 times, etc. Okay? Because there's no new fighters. Nobody's getting to the top because these guys are the ones dominating it. You got it? So that's why Harry Crabb, he only got 16 Hall of Famers and 399 fights. That's why Sugar Ray Robinson, he got 201 fights, But he only faced 12 Hall of Famers, and he faced, and remarkably so, and I give him all credit in the world, 22. He faced more, but he beat 22 top quality fighters. Some of them weren't world champions, but they were quality fighters because they beat world champions. They beat quality guys. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so I want you guys to understand that man took 201 fights and he beat 22 top quality fighters. That's 1/10 of all his fights. Okay? Mayweather faced 23 top quality fighters in 50 fights. Yo, that's almost half the number of fights he's had in top quality opponents. No comparison. Get what I'm saying? Now, Tank. Y'all going in on Tank. Oh, Tank ain't faced nobody. I see somebody. Hold on a second. Let me see who this guy is first. You know what? I'm gonna show y'all some stuff. I'm gonna show y'all some stuff because I think it's worth the while showing you. But first, let me just have a look at what you guys were saying. Right. Boxing Monster said false. Tank has been fighting for years and yet to fight a top 10 fighter in any division. That's false, first of all. All you got to do is go to BoxRec. And it so happens I can pull up BoxRec on this. So I'm going to do that. Hold on a second. Come on. Okay, good. Chroma's going to come up. It's taking its good old time. Alright. I'm going to show you guys how it's done. It's real simple. My phone is moving extra slow though. And still moving up it's playing up its ass. Now I'm on YouTube for some reason. Hold on a second, people. Trying to get this fucking thing to start playing up its ass. Okay. So I was here. You guys gonna see this in real time. See, all you gotta do to find out who the top 10 guys was is you go to the Ring magazine. Stupid ass motherfucker. Annual ratings, as it says right there. Boom. So when you want to find the truth of a situation, my phone is taking like the next millennium to move, man. Stupid. Alright, so this is how you do it. I'm not going by year. I'm going by weight class. Junior lightweight, that's what we're looking at. I guess we're looking in the 2010s because I think that's when Tank came on the scene. Junior lightweight division. Not quite sure when Tank came on the scene though. There's Lomachenko. There's Gervonta Tank Davis. You see him right there? Gervonta in 2017 was a top 10. He was a top featherweight. There's Gervonta. So all I need to do, Jose Pedraza, 2017, August of 2017. Tank beat Jose Pedraza. Alright? That's all I gotta do is that. So I go back to 2017. Okay. So these are the top 10. These were the top 10 super featherweights, right? If you look the year before that, 2016, you will notice Jose Pedraza is number 6. 2016 right there in front of you. Move this shit out of the way. Alright, so there's Jose Pedraza right there, number 6. Alright? So to tell me, Boxing Monster, that Tank never faced a top 10 super featherweight or top 10 anything in any division is absolutely false. I'm going to show you another one. So Tank faced Leo Santa Cruz, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. Let me just find it. Junior lightweight. All right. Junior lightweight 2020. See that Gervonta Tank Davis is number 2 in 2020. All right. Now I'm shit. Let's see. Okay. And so these are some of the world champions he beat. Cristobal Cruz. Cristobal Cruz was done when he beat him. Jose Pedraza was in his prime, undefeated, and the IBF champ. Jesus Andres Cuellar. They fought for, I think, the WBA belt. Jesus Andres Cuellar, I'm trying to remember, he was the featherweight champ, so he moved up in weight to face thing. And you have Hugo Ruiz, then you had Yorkis Gamboa at lightweight, and then you had Leo Santa Cruz, okay? Anyways, here's the thing. He faced Leo Santa Cruz in 2020. So in 2020, Leo Santa Cruz, who was on the pound-for-pound list, by the way, Leo Santa Cruz, he beat him because Leo Santa Cruz had the WBA super featherweight belt. He beat him in October 31st of 2020. All right. Mario Barrios wasn't a real world champion. The real world champion is Josh Taylor. So we don't really count this one. But Leo Santa Cruz was a top 10 super featherweight because he beat some other guy, and he was a 3-divisional world champion, and then became 4-divisional world champion. So as a result of that, he was actually in the top 10 in 2020. Unfortunately, because he got beat by Gervonta, and he moved out of the weight class, they just rescinded it. But if you go through the year before October 31st, Leo Santa Cruz was a top 10 super featherweight because he was a champion. So obviously, right? Yeah. So these are the 2 credible names I personally look at. It's Jose Pedraza and Leo Santa Cruz. The other guys, nah. All right. So it's not true. Now, I want to go back to the point at hand, though. I want to go back to the point at hand that I'm making that has to do with this. This Roy Jones Jr. stuff. All right. So a lot of people, like Boxing Monster, they're saying Tank, he ain't faced no top guys at lightweight. How could he be the top lightweight? He ain't facing no top guys at lightweight. All he faced was Gamboa. Or Tank, he ain't faced the top guys at super featherweight either. I mean, the only guy he faced was Leo Santa Cruz. But the top guys at the time were Jamal Herring, the guy that Oscar Valdez beat, Miguel Berchelt, Tevin Farmer was the top guy that Tank was supposed to face. Right? Those were the guys. So it was the WBO champion, the WBC champion. Tank was the WBA champion. And then you had the IBF champion, which Tevin Farmer was the IBF. Jamal Herring was the WBO. And Miguel Berchelt was the WBC. Right? He never faced none of them guys. So this is what people mostly mad at Tank for, because it doesn't seem like he's going the normal route that people expect. And at lightweight, you have Devin Haney, you got Ryan Garcia, who've been calling him out. You had, of course, Vasily Lomachenko, who had been calling him out. You had Teofimo Lopez. All right, so you had those guys, and Tank didn't face none of them. Right, so this is why a lot of people are like, well, what's Tank doing? You know what I'm saying? How could you be such a great fighter You're not facing no great fighters, right? So I get the criticism. But he did face some good fighters. Like I said, Leo Santa Cruz and Jose Pedraza. And Mario Barrios is doing pretty good, even though he lost to Keith Thurman, was a top 10 welterweight. So, he hurt Thurman. So, what I'm saying is that, Tank is going a different course right now with Mayweather Promotions. But don't get it twisted. He will be facing Devin Haney. He will be facing Vasily Lomachenko, maybe. I don't know if he will, but he will be facing Devin Haney. He will be facing Ryan Garcia, I believe. He will face those guys. And why do I think he will face those guys? Is because down the road they gotta face each other. They're not gonna spend their whole career at lightweight. First of all, Tank's already shown that he can go up to super lightweight, not face the top guy like Josh Taylor, but he can fight at super lightweight. So basically, they will meet up. But here's the thing I'm trying to say to you guys, a lot of you guys don't understand, and why you guys need to have patience in this boxing game, is that throwback fighters wasn't facing top guys every single fight. They just never were doing that. Okay? The throwback fighters had a lot of stay busy fights. Some of them they had above their weight class, and then they come down to their weight class and then do what they do. And that's something that a lot of you guys just don't understand. So you guys expect every single fight to be a top tier fight and a fight you want to see. Y'all do it with Canelo. Y'all do it with Errol Spence. Y'all want to see him face Crawford. Errol's facing a top tier guy. He's facing Adenis Ugas. Okay? He's facing Adenis Ugas. And he's doing what he told Terrence he was going to do from a long time ago. He said, listen, I don't know why people never listen to him. I'm going to clean up my side of the street, and then I'm going to face you. And that's exactly what he's been doing. Okay? But people don't have patience. People want to see Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's all they want to see. It makes no logical sense for it to have happened when they wanted it, but that's how people are moving today. They're in a social media environment where people are not thinking with their brains anymore, and they have no patience. Okay? And then they're ready to say Errol's ducking Terrence. How could you be ducking Terrence and you're facing world champions, dummy? How dumb could people be? You know what I'm saying? All right, when you look at a guy like Errol Spence, who has he faced consecutively, time and time again? Only former world champions and world champions. When you look at Canelo, besides the stupid fight that they say was a mandatory, whatever, I don't give a damn. Besides that stupid, Canelo's been facing world champions. All right? So you can't call him a duck. You can't call him a duck. Now, the thing with Canelo is, he's been coming up and he still hadn't faced certain guys from 154. Jamal Charlo has not been faced since 154. Demetrius Andre has not been faced since 154. And these guys are top guys. Demetrius Andre just went up to 168. Okay? And they want to face Canelo. And that's a problem because Canelo has now gone through 3 divisions, going on to a 4th division. And he hasn't faced these guys. Now, Jamal Charlo has faced some good quality fighters and former world champions as well as world champions. So if anybody Canelo should face first, because he's actually faced people, is Charlo. I don't know if Charlo wants it right now, but that's a fight that they should try to make. When it comes to Demetrius Andre, he's probably the most difficult opponent that Canelo will ever face in his entire career, but he hasn't faced named opponents. All right, and people say, well, people keep on ducking Demetrius Andre. Nah, you can step up, and you should. By now, you should be able to face somebody. Okay, and there's David Benavidez waiting because people ducking David Benavidez. So if Demetrius Andre gets you with this fight, and they know Canelo fighting on the rise, he should be facing David Benavidez. All right. So my point anyway is this. Y'all expect these dudes to be facing top guys every single fight because y'all get spoiled by Floyd Mayweather. Okay? So if Canelo decided to take a stay busy in between, all of a sudden Canelo can't do it. But you got to understand, and then you compare these guys to throwback fighters, and you say, throwback fighters, and then they say that throwback fighters oh, they better than these guys, and these guys would never face a throwback fighter because throwback fighters used to face the guys. They used to face them. No, it's not true. Okay? They used to be facing bum after bum after bum. Then you have a big guy, and it's the big name was somebody they faced already. Y'all really don't know boxing, man. Y'all don't really know boxing, man. I'm gonna say it again. Y'all really don't know boxing. Y'all want to go in on Tank? Y'all want to go in on Tank? Y'all serious? So Tank probably took it to heart, and he's like, "Man, promotion's not promoting me, man. This is whack stuff." And he probably want to go off on his own. And Roy Jones Jr. be speaking in his ear, Mike Tyson be speaking in his ear, and if he ain't smart, if he's not paying attention, they will lead him astray because they're seeing everything from the outside. They're not seeing it from the inside. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Them big fights gonna come down the road. If it's one thing about Mayweather Promotions, they know how to promote fighters. They know how to do it. You got a little bit of talent, a little bit of skill, they can promote you. So I don't know what Gervonta Davis want to do. You know, I respect him for whatever he want to do. But you know, sometimes it's good to just listen and take your time, have some patience. If Mayweather Promotions is saying, okay, you can go your way, do your thing, all right. The nice thing I like about Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions is they're not trying to shackle and ensnare a fighter who has potential, because Mayweather knows how his history used to be and how he didn't want to be shackled by Bob Arum. Okay? So Tank can go off with Al Heyman and they could negotiate, you know, work out their plan, the route, and do what they need to do so Tank can be happy. But I guarantee you this, he's not going to make that kind of money that Mayweather Promotions has already started to push him with. Because one thing about Mayweather Promotions, they know how to generate stars and make machine, and the machinery works refined. But if you want to do it with Al Heyman, but a lot of fighters are doing it with Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Tank will get the fights that he wants and stuff, but he's not going to make that kind of money because none of those guys, not even Errol Spence, is making that kind of money. And Tank very early in his career he's making money. He's making moolah. Alright? Leonard Albee and Floyd Mayweather, they got experience. They know what they're doing. You know? And with Al Heyman. But you can't just, it's up to Tank. But I wouldn't listen to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. They outsiders. I wouldn't listen to them. I would listen to the people inside, people who good. And if it is that you want to have these step-up fights, you want to have these, not step-up fights, but these top-tier fights. Because listen, this is what's going to happen. If Haney beats Kambosos, right, one or two things going to happen. Haney's going to have to defend his title and step up. And if he's got to defend his title, guess who's sitting down there waiting? Tank. Tank's the WBA regular champion. Right? So we could see Haney versus Tank maybe before Haney moves up. You know what I'm saying? Tank's in a position where he can make money and then face the top guys. Because they're there. And they're all young. They're there. So if Tank want to get undisputed, Haney versus Kambosos is going to happen. Once Haney comes back to the United States of America, because, it's going to be in Australia. And the reason it's in Australia is because Haney ain't that big a star. If Haney was a big star, he wouldn't have to go to Australia to sell a fight. Right? So he ain't that big a star. But Haney versus Tank, that will make huge money for undisputed. So I want you guys to understand, Tank ain't got to do much except be patient and take his time. The fights are going to come because, and Ryan Garcia said he want to face Tank. That's great. That's a big fight again. But you got to be patient. You got to hope that Ryan will win all his fights so that you can see those fights happen. And some of them fights are not going to happen at lightweight. Right? Some of them will. Kambosos is likely to make a humongous payday, facing Devin Haney. And, he's gonna fight like a true Spartan, but that shit can't make up for knowledge. It just can't. Haney gonna beat that ass. Let me see what else you guys are saying here before I sign out. Alright. I'm looking for comments. Anybody say anything extra? Ooh, you got these nuts here. These nuts says Tank, Haney, and Ryan disrespected too much. I agree. What else is these nuts saying? Hold up there, these nuts. I'm trying to get the comments. They appear and then disappear. I don't know why. Spence is beating Bud. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Andre was my first pick, then Charlo. Now I'm saying Charlo. Yeah. Charlo would bring more dollars, I think. These nuts says David last. To be honest with you, these nuts, I think that David Benavidez is actually the easiest of them because he gets hit really easy. Charlo, if you hit Charlo gonna get you back. He's a counterpuncher. If you look at Demetrius Andre, he's just slick, and besides that, even though he's been dropped once or twice, he's tough. He's a dog as well. So Andre and Charlo, I think Andre the best opponent for Canelo. I think he's gonna be the best guy. He just have to wait and just try and get some big fights. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. David Benavidez does not beat Demetrius Andre. If Demetrius Andre tomorrow faces David Benavidez is gonna lose. I'm telling you right now. David Benavidez don't have what it takes to beat a Demetrius Andre. Jamel Charlo don't have what it takes to beat a Demetrius Andre. I got Andre beating all them guys. Hands down. Caleb Plant don't have what it takes to beat a Demetrius Andre. Okay? So, I'm going to say that one time so you guys know. Canelo is going to have hell to try and beat a Demetrius Andre because of the footwork. The footwork. He gonna have hell to beat what's the guy name? Dimitri Bivol. Another Dimitri. Okay, we got Demetrius Andre and we got Dimitri Bivol. I'm telling you right now, Bivol's gonna be, I think he's gonna be too much for Canelo. I think Canelo, you gotta find you. He gotta find you. And if you are a step ahead of him, if your feet are quicker than his, you always get in position before he does. And he gonna look stupid. I mean, he talking about how he wasn't in his prime to beat Floyd Mayweather. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. You struggled with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant got that Philly shell defense. Okay? You struggled with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant ain't got no damn experience whatsoever and was beating your ass. Alright? And he would have won the fight if he just knew how to what to do once you get dropped. He didn't know what to do. You ain't facing Charlo, who has really ridiculously fast reaction time, and you haven't faced Demetrius Andre. Them are the closest things to Floyd Mayweather. The only other thing that might be close to Floyd Mayweather at 175, the Floyd Mayweather of 175, is Dimitri Bivol. I don't know why you decided to pick that fight, bruh. That is just not a fight to pick. But I give him kudos. I give him mad props for wanting to face Dimitri Bivol. But I'm gonna tell you why. Because he don't have the tools to beat the Dimitri Bivol. He proved it time and time again. He struggled with Erislandy Lara. He struggled with Triple G when Triple G was jabbing him. He struggled. Well, he didn't struggle so much. He walked his ass down. Let me not. Sergey Kovalev was in some people's minds outpointing him. Okay, before he got stopped. I didn't think he was outpointing him, but hey, well, whatever. But the point is, Billy Joe Saunders in a round or two, he was doing his thing. He just didn't have the confidence. Guys who can box and who have power, Canelo has problems with him. Late on in the fight, Danny Jacobs was doing his thing. And Danny Jacobs is not as good as Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol, as I said before, I'm going to say it again. He's a better fighter than Vasily Lomachenko. He can do much more orthodox boxing things than Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko has to keep moving and moving and moving and moving. Bivol can stand right in front of you and counterpunch your ass. Okay, he's got great timing. He's got great angles. He can, and he also got good foot speed, and he got good cardio. So, I mean, Canelo don't have that kind of cardio. So, Bivol's got way too many advantages for Canelo, and he don't move excessively around the ring either. He has nice pivot work. So, I don't even know why Canelo picked this fight. This is not a fight that, I mean, he's gonna learn the lesson. He's gonna learn the hard way that that's not no fight he can win like that. It's not. He ain't Walker Park. I think that's a little too much to bite to chew. And the dude's on 175 on top of that. I think he bit off more than he could chew. But hey, man, I love to see how he solves that puzzle and how he learns how to overcome that problem. Because if you ask me who's the toughest guy that Canelo could face right now, aside from Demetrius Andrade, it would be Dmitry Bivol. Okay, Bivol is he's not as good as Andrade, but he's good. He's really, really good. And y'all have no idea when this upset happens. Y'all gonna be watching at me like I've been talking about it. I since the fight came. I even said, I was holding it close to my chest, and I said Caleb Plant would beat Canelo. He almost did, but he didn't know how to do, and that was the problem. But with Bivol has a lot more experience. Been at 175 for a long time. Been fighting guys bigger than him. So what Canelo's going to bring to the table, there's nothing that Canelo brings to the table that Bivol can't handle. Whether he puts on a catch weight for Bivol, it doesn't really matter. Bivol will be able to handle whatever Canelo brings to him. And I know Bivol's looking at Canelo like he's food. Because, I mean, y'all talk about how Canelo wasn't in his prime and he's improved so much. Okay, we will see against Dmitry Bivol. We will see, right? We'll see. Because Dmitry Bivol's like a Floyd Mayweather. He is like a Floyd Mayweather. Caleb Plant was kind of borrowing from Floyd Mayweather's style somewhat, but he didn't have no punch in his right hand. He was mostly a jabber, But Bivol is the goods. He is really what you see. All right? I don't know, man. That's a tall out order that Canelo just picked up there. That's not your guy. Just because Bivol is not well known, but Bivol was seen and esteemed as the number one 175 pounder before Beterbiev beat Gavordik. You know what I'm saying? And unified. Beterbiev is old. He's like 37. I'm not saying he's slowing down or anything, but he's slow as fuck. So Canelo could outmaneuver him. But when it comes to Bivol's just as fast as Canelo. And got better footwork, and everything starts with the feet. Your foundation is your feet. He's just got much better footwork than Canelo, and so that's a big problem. Canelo should be working on his footwork all day. You know what I'm saying? All day. I know he's sparring, Frank Sanchez, who's a great heavyweight and all that, but dude, you need to work on your footwork. You're not gonna cut off the ring on this dude like that. This dude's gonna cut some angles on you. You're gonna get bopped upside the head. And I don't care if Canelo's juicing or not. He gonna look like a fool. Bivol gonna just be, beating this boy down. Cause I'm telling you, man. I'm telling y'all right now. I called it. I called from the jump. When I heard this fight, I said, whoa. You just came off a Caleb Plant fight and you was stepping in with Bivol? For real? I was intrigued somewhat, and I was like, I try to evaluate the situation. I'm running it back and forth in my head, and I'm no way in hell I could see how Canelo beats Bivol. So there got to be something Canelo know that I don't know. I don't know, because people think Bivol can't fight on the inside. He can fight on the inside. I don't know, man. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what people are seeing or what Canelo's camp is seeing. I don't understand it. Now, Bivol, right now, Russia, is invaded Ukraine. And if they don't get their ass out of Ukraine, we could see the situation being one in which Canelo don't have to face Bivol, at least for a title. But as it is standing, That's a ballsy move on Canelo's part. You better get yourself in order, Canelo. That's some ball. Canelo got some balls, y'all. That's a ballsy move. Cause I'm telling you, man, Bebo's not. Y'all have no idea. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Yeah. I'm gonna catch you guys later, man. I am what you need. We getting out the building. Hope you guys enjoyed this little session with you guys. We're gonna talk about the upcoming fights over the weekend. Um, I'm gonna talk about Paulie's pound for pound list that he put up, women's pound for pound list. I might even put up a fun pound for pound list with men's. Now, I was something I left in the comments, and I think somebody else checked out my video or something. I don't know. But I think what the name Lion Killer podcast. So I said I referred to Lion Killer podcast. What he's saying, he was saying that he believes that Henry Armstrong was a better overall, had a better overall career and a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. And I actually helped him with some points. I said, when you look at the guys that he faced, and the accomplishments he made, maybe so, maybe not, But when I think about it and I put it in perspective, no. Henry Armstrong's career ended at the age of 32. He was out of his prime. His last fight against Chester Slider was at 32. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying longevity-wise, dude had 118 fights, faced 18 top-quality fighters in his career, went above and beyond as a world champion. I'm not saying that man don't deserve to be, but I'm just saying that when you look at Floyd Mayweather's career, with less fights, this man had more quality of opposition, beat everybody, never lost a fight, never had a draw, never had no contest, none of that. And he did it through 5 weight classes, or what people would call throwback days, 2 weight classes. He dominated welterweight and he dominated lightweight. No matter how you look at it, that's just what he did. You can't be turning around saying that and Mayweather had, he has the most consecutive championship wins in the history of boxing. Nobody else has 26 consecutive championship wins. So when you think about Mayweather, it's a totally different. I'm just saying. There's a lot to it. Henry Armstrong, hell of a fighter, but fought a little too much fought a little too much. The guy who was beating him, he was done at a certain point. Guys was beating him, he was just doing it for the paycheck, you know what I mean? Anyways, my people, I'm going to catch you guys later. I'm what you need. I spent almost an hour, if I didn't spend an hour on this thing. Let me see. Almost an hour, 58 minutes. But I just wanted to talk with you guys, break it down. I got to go outside. I'm working some land. Maybe I'll show you guys that some other time. But I'm going to catch you guys later. I'm what you need. Out. Peace.